I won't say this with confidence, even though I want to say it with confidence. But a lot of things I say with confidence, I say it because I know that I can back it up with forms of logical research that I know people need. But we're speaking in a metaphysical term right now. I truly don't feel anything is vibrating at the exact same frequency. Nothing is vibrating at the exact same frequency. You see what I'm saying? It's just like the fact that nobody has the same fingerprint. It's just like the fact that no snowflake is exactly the same. You understand what I'm saying? Can they exist within the same realm? Absolutely. Can they be in alignment with each other, able to see the same things? Absolutely. Vibrating out of, so you know what it's just like, brother? It's like a symphony. In the symphony, you have sopranos, you have altos, you see, but they're in a like having a temperature that melts ice. I can raise that temperature, but it's still melting the ice. But there's a temperature that'll never melt ice. But see, I could be at 98 degrees and somebody else is at 100 degrees. But you're still doing the same thing. But technically, we're not at the exact same degree. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't feel, once again, I am hesitant to say this with very specific confidence, even though I feel I can. I keep saying that, and that sounds weird. See, I love this. I love when I get conversations where I can contradict and not contradict at the same time. See, that's the levels we need to be on. Those are the levels I look for. Usually I can speak with the most extreme confidence because we're not speaking in realms that are beyond the physical and beyond what we understand as this third dimensional existence as quote unquote human beings. But I will say this with confidence, as I hesitate with the confidence, nothing in existence vibrates at the exact same frequency. The precise exact frequency, I will say no. In alignment with each other, yes. Me and you, we have a certain form of thinking and a certain form of understanding that relates to each other. Are we vibrating at the same frequency? No, we're not. You see what I'm saying? Do we have many things in common that come with an alignment of each other to create an understanding between each other or create a perception that is one in the same of each other? Absolutely. But see, there's things that you can hear, you can see, you can do, you can think, you can feel, you can travel within a lucid dream that maybe I've yet to experience, or maybe I cannot. The same way, this goes back into the reason why I love my so-called recordings to be so-called random, because see, the questions you'll ask me might not exist in my conscious mind to ask myself or to seek. But because my subconscious as well as your subconscious knows everything, when you throw or pull something out of me, I have to go into my subconscious to seek the answer. But see, if I was going by my own guideline or my own organization or my own desire to want to know what I want to know, I would never go into my subconscious to look for the answer. Because it's the frontal lobe that's working. It's the consciousness that's saying, well, here's the subject. Black people are this and da da da. I already know the answer to all of that in a conscious realm, in a surface realm, and I'm just seeing a post on Instagram realm. It's already there. I don't have to dig through my subconscious for that. But see, when you ask me something, with my brother, you know, as usual, we always here to discuss things that elevate the mind and stimulate the brain, understanding that those two things are different, and coming to forms of conclusion using science and observation and intelligence to bring us to an understanding of our current existence, allowing us to vibrate higher and create higher frequencies as we exist in these physical bodies, which gives us greater capabilities. Everything in existence is based and emanated off tones, vibrations, and frequencies. And when we refer to, or should I say when the recessive refers to as the so-called Big Bang Theory, what are we initially speaking of? We're speaking of the creation of this one so-called universe within the omniverse, created from a tone, created from the emanation of a tone. Because what we fail to understand is every single thing that you see in this so-called physical existence and beyond it, to be honest with you, makes a sound. Even the sperm, as it goes into the egg within the body during conception, makes a sound. We know this is true by the fact that when a person blows a dog whistle with an extreme amount of breath and capacity of the lungs, no matter how hard he blows, we can't hear it. But dogs from yards away will come running. So because we can't hear it, does that mean that tone or frequency does not exist? No. So I'm using that to start this recording off of that foundation because, brothers like you, we have questions and curiosities and certain things that go into this realm of expansion that I'm always referring to, I'm always talking about, because we have to be about expansion. Because if you notice, we can talk about the women and socialism and relationships all day long and be going in constant circles and literally going nowhere, just pretty much saying the same things in different ways, which is sustaining the problem other than changing it. Because let's be honest, the change comes from the first mind. The first mind is the womb mind. So we can be the greatest men in the world, but if the woman's mind is not changed, then she will continue to produce and create the same so-called men, society, or generations that they are complaining about. But once again, not to make that about any form of socialism. Let's expand on anything dealing with this, my brother. Anything dealing with the fact that all existence is frequency, tones, vibration. Vibration is one of the 7 omniversal laws. The fact that the so-called universe is really just one creation within endless creations within the omniverse. That's why you have the omniverse, you have the multiverse, you have the triverse, and you have the universe. And to be honest with you, the universe is you. Because the word uni is really one. And if you look at the word verse, what's verse? Verse is like a song. What's a song? You don't have a song without tones. So when we say universe, what are we really saying? One song or one tone? So when we begin to break things down beyond the layers of the surface that we're given, we can get to the core and essentially become one with existence to where there is no limitations. Staying on the surface, you're always limited. Always. Because you're limited to what you see, you're limited to what you think, and what you're told. Excuse me. But, brother, anything, I don't want to put you in no box, though, brother. I don't want to do that. But, I don't care what it is, but I just wanted to implant that.
Right.
To build. I don't want you limited at all, my brother, because as I say, as the people know in my videos, as I say all the time, I'm about expansion and so-called randomness, because nothing is random. But I say so-called randomness because when we speak from an aspect of making videos or making blogs or whatever the hell you want to talk about it in organized fashion, that's limited. It's limited. That's why I title all my videos way after they're done. I don't already have a direction or title or a organized aspect to when I begin to do this, because it's the subconscious that we are pulling from when we have these discussions. It's the subconscious that has all the answers, not the conscious, because the conscious is not 24/7. But anyway, my brother.
So going off of frequencies, right? Do you feel like, since there are different frequencies within this omniverse, even within this earth, do you feel like as a I wouldn't even call us a species, because I feel like we're all gods, but
you say
beings, do you feel like as beings we actually see, hear, smell, and visualize things at different frequencies as together? So what I mean by that is, maybe this guy over here in this van, he might he might have the same frequency as me. So he may see a car, or he may see certain things, or he may see a picture or words in the similar aspect or perspective as me, versus another guy to the right that might have a different frequency and he sees things different. I'm referring to colors, I'm referring to shapes, I'm referring to smells, I'm referring to things of that nature. Because do you feel like we may have been forced into this one reality, but we have different there's different layers of our realities within this reality, if I'm making sense?
Absolutely. Now I want to say this, because it's not, I will never say in stone. See, when you talk about having the same frequency, what are we really talking about? We're really talking about a form of alignment.
Right.
It's like when the planets are in line, those planets don't have the same frequencies as each other. They're just in line at a so-called time or moment or cycle of their current existence within a form of vibrational existence at once. Now, I won't say this with confidence, even though I want to say it with confidence. But a lot of things I say with confidence, I say it because I know that I can back it up with forms of logical research that I know people need. But we're speaking in a metaphysical term right now. I truly don't feel anything is vibrating at the exact same frequency. Nothing is vibrating at the exact same frequency. You see what I'm saying? It's just like the fact that nobody has the same fingerprint. It's just like the fact that no snowflake is exactly the same. You understand what I'm saying? Can they exist within the same realm? Absolutely. Can they be in alignment with each other, able to see the same things? Absolutely. Vibrating at a certain, you know what it's just like, brother? It's like a symphony. In a symphony, you have sopranos, you have altos, you see, but they're in alignment with each other, creating a harmonious one sound, a harmonious one song. You see what I'm saying? So, yes, there are all beings around us as we speak right now that have multiple frequencies that they are on specifically, able to see things that we both can see or see things that we can't see. Another perfect example of this is animals. You'll look at a cat, and sometimes a cat will be staring at something and you don't understand what the hell it's looking at, but it's a possibility that that cat is seeing something that you cannot see. The same aspect as I said with the dog earlier. He's hearing a tone that you cannot hear. Are you, the dog, and the cat existing in the same physical third dimensional realm? Yes. You see what I'm saying? But are your attributes, characteristics, and abilities exactly the same or aligned at that time? No. Can they be aligned without being at the specific frequency? I feel yes. Because it's like having a temperature that melts ice. I can raise that temperature, but it's still melting the ice. But there's a temperature that'll never melt ice. But see, I could be at 98 degrees and somebody else is at 100 degrees, you're still doing the same thing. But technically, we're not at the exact same degree. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't feel, once again, I am hesitant to say this with very specific confidence, even though I feel I can. I keep saying that and that sounds weird. See, I love this. I love when I get conversations where I can contradict and not contradict at the same time. See, that's the levels we need to be on. Those are the levels I look for. Usually I can speak with the most extreme confidence because we're not speaking in realms that are beyond the physical and beyond what we understand as this third dimensional existence as quote unquote human beings. But I will say this with confidence, as I hesitate with the confidence, nothing in existence vibrates at the exact same frequency. The precise exact frequency, I will say no. In alignment with each other, yes. Me and you, we have a certain form of thinking and a certain form of understanding that relates to each other. Are we vibrating at the same frequency? No, we're not. You see what I'm saying? Do we have many things in common that come with an alignment of each other to create an understanding between each other or create a perception that is one and the same of each other? Absolutely. But see, there's things that You can hear, you can see, you can do, you can think, you can feel, you can travel within a lucid dream that maybe I've yet to experience, or maybe I cannot. The same way, this goes back into the reason why I love my so-called recordings to be so-called random, because see, the questions you'll ask me might not exist in my conscious mind to ask myself or to seek. But because my subconscious as well as your subconscious knows everything, when you throw or pull something out of me, I have to go into my subconscious to seek the answer. But see, if I was going by my own guideline or my own organization or my own desire to want to know what I want to know, I would never go into my subconscious to look for the answer. Because it's the frontal lobe that's working. It's the consciousness that's saying, well, here's the subject. Black people are this and da da da. I already know the answer to all of that in a conscious realm, in a surface realm, and a just seeing a post on Instagram realm. It's already there. I don't have to dig through my subconscious for that. But see, when you ask me something that either I never thought of or never cared to pay attention to or to focus on, now I'm forced to go into my subconscious, which logs all the information in all existence to pull that out because I know that that archive exists. See, a lot of us don't know that the subconscious holds all. We don't know that. We're not taught that. We're taught to use consciousness. Perfect example. The conscious community, because it's a fucking mess. I call it conscious mess. You see what I'm saying? Conscious of what? You see, that's the question. You're conscious of what? You say you're conscious, but you're conscious of what? That's the question. Because technically, everything is conscious. That tree is conscious of itself as a tree. So is that tree part of the conscious community? But see, we say these miscellaneous things without going into depth and breaking down the levels of what they truly mean and going into depth of the expansion of these one words and what they define in us. Compared to the infinite. Look at that word. We always say, well, the definition. What's definition? Take the shun away. It's definite. The D, every time you hear D means to go backwards. Deconstruction, degrade, degeneration. So what am I doing? I'm going against the infinite. So I'm actually encasing or concluding or limiting the infinite. So therefore I define it. And who has defined everything you feel and think today? Because when you go for an answer, where do you go? Google? Where do you go? A dictionary? Now that's another thing. Let's bring up that real fast. Dictionary. You go to a dictionary to find definitions. But in the word dictionary is dictate. Not define. The word dictionary should be called a definitionary. But it's not. I'll give you another one. Why does a second come before a minute? Think about that. Why does seconds add up to minutes? Well, that they tell you second comes after first. You see what I'm saying, brother? Yeah. We're in a delusion. Utilizing a illusion given to us by a mutation who is a graftation. So everything they give to you is a form of inverse and backwards so-called reality. It's a fact that what we refer to as reality is not reality. This is the dream. This is the illusion. The fact that you think you're in a car, the fact that you think you got clothes on, the fact that you think you need a job and you need money, that's an illusion. See, it's funny, when people go to sleep and they have quote unquote lucid dream, what's the first thing they say when they come out of a dream? It felt so real. Because it was real. You see what I'm saying? It was real. This is the shit that feels like it's an illusion. Struggle is an illusion. All that shit is an illusion. Pain is an illusion. You know how you know this stuff is an illusion? Because if I disconnect the receptors in your brain that send a signal to your body that tells you you're in pain, you don't got pain no more. And I could do that physically. I don't have to do that with metaphysics. I don't have to do that with magic. All I have to do is cut out the tiny portion of a hemisphere of your brain and you will not feel pain. Or what the monks and shamans and martial artists do, They cut that part off mentally and can't feel pain, and walking on nails and walking on hot coals and so on and so forth. They cut that part off with their mind. So once you understand that everything in your existence is different levels of vibration, frequencies, tones, what you claim to see is an illusion. If we want to break it down on a logical, physical extent, everything you're looking is a concentration of atoms. Everything you look at, everything is a concentration of atoms moving at a vibratory rate, whether it's fast or slow.
Right. that we've mentally created.
Yes. Yes.
In another realm, this doesn't even, it won't even be seen the same. Or
no,
man-made. This is a man-made reality that we've all been forced into by another man.
Yes,
from
mankind,
from birth.
Mankind putting human into captivity,
into basically one reality when we're not supposed to be in one reality. Everybody's supposed to be in different realities.
Well, there's
their own reality.
Well, technically, it's not what everybody's supposed to be in, because we are in them as we speak. As you speak right now, you have multiple existences that exist simultaneously to this one in different dimensions. Simultaneously. As you so-called transition and are reborn, you're reborn numerous times at once. You have to think of dimensions as looking into a diamond or looking into a kaleidoscope magnified by a diamond. Because you're only seeing reflections of reflections over and over again that are yourself simultaneously all at once.
So you're saying this existence is just literally a simultaneous existence. It's not linear. It's definitely not
nothing
linear.
Is linear.
Yeah,
that's not recessive bullshit.
I'm just putting it out there. It's not linear.
No.
It's literally just it's chaos. Like us. We're as a whole.
Well, right? No, technically no. It's actually
or is it consistent?
It's a insufficient order by a gravitation mutant. The reason why I say it's not chaos, because chaos, we're in chaos as we speak, as far as the bigger picture of the earth being within black matter, being within this galaxy, being within this universe, within this omniverse. That is chaos, because chaos is forever creating. The order comes in when the planets are put into specific celestial and Milky Ways and all of this stuff. I made a post about this. Pure creativity is chaos, but the design is the order. What do I mean? You give somebody a blank slate, or what's the word I want to use when somebody is an artist? You give them a blank canvas. You don't tell them what to draw. You don't tell them what to think. You just give them a whole boatload of paint and just let them go crazy. See, that's pure creativity. Here's what happens. After they use that pure creativity, which comes from chaos, which is really the feminine principle, to be honest with you, which comes from chaos, they create the most magnificent, most beautiful creation you've ever seen. Here's where male comes in. He takes that creation, creates a template from it, and creates a design. Bam. That's what we're looking at. You're looking at a design that came after the creativity or the order that came after the chaos. So after this shirt was randomly made by the mind that created it, they printed it up. And they made 1,000 prints of the same shirt. You get what I'm trying to say? So therefore, the print you're looking at, the after byproduct, is the order, is the design. But the original template and the creativity that created it from the pure source of what we refer to as chaos, that's the chaos. And that's why that always comes first. The template doesn't come before the creation. The creation comes first, creating the template. And then the template is duplicated. It's duplicated. That's all it is. See, if you look at man is a duplicator. He's always seeding, trying to reproduce himself. He finds something that works and does it over and over and over again. He doesn't find something that works and try to fuck it up. Unfortunately, here we go and getting into it, because it always goes back to them. You find a solution for a woman. It works. You've mastered the template and the solution of that solution. You give it to her. What happens to it days later? It turns into something else. because she's not a duplicator.
She's a creator.
She's a creator.
Right.
So here's the problem, though. There's not a bad or good in this scenario I'm talking about. It's just about how you're perceiving it and how it's able to be utilized after it's created. So you give her a template that works as a solution to her problem. She takes it, tweaks it, breaks it, puts it back together, does a whole bunch of shit to it, and it's a problem again. And you're like, well, wait a second. I gave you the template. I don't understand. But you don't give order to chaos. You be the order to the chaos. See, that's why if you notice, no matter how much you teach the film, we're going to keep this scientific. No matter how much you teach, no matter how much you place the design upon the feminine energy or creation or chaos itself, the design has to be constant. You can't leave the design behind and expect to come back to the consistency of that design. Because that's not what creation, that's not what chaos is. Chaos is in all directions at all times simultaneously. See, design, template, and order is one directional forever. You see? And we can place this into many different things that we see in our social society, and I don't even want to do that. I want to keep it in a more metaphysical realm so I can keep, squeezing the subconscious. But yes, you can't leave a template for chaos expecting chaos to turn into order. It's not how it works. That template must be consistently interjected all the time. And this is where we fall off to an extent, getting to the social aspect as men, because we think we can just teach 1, 2, 3 and then step back and go away and then come back and get mad that it's not the same way we left it. Because that's not you have to be there. You have to be consistent. And if you're not prepared to be consistent, don't take the job. If you're not prepared to give up your time, to give up your personal space, to give up what you feel or what we feel today is giving up ourselves to keep the consistency of that template and that design within order and within a secure aspect of foundation. Because remember, man is the square. He is the four corners creating the square, creating the foundation that one stands on. Woman is the circle. Each one of them add up to 360 degrees, adding up to 720 degrees. And don't get me started on a triangle. We're going to go take it there. But the man is the square. The woman is the circle. The circle is spirit. The square is body. The body is physical. The spirit is spiritual. It's etheric. The spirit itself can be placed into many things and it can be conformed into many things, but it never stays where it's at. You see what I'm saying? Even water, when you place it in something, as submissive as water is, because that's what water is and that's what woman is, eventually what happens to the water? It evaporates. It will evaporate. I've seen that myself. I put water in a container and left it somewhere too long, came back, the container was empty. I was like, how the hell did that happen? It evaporated. I have a fish tank right now. Days go by, the water goes down. What's happening? The water's evaporating. You see, there's no leak in the tank. The water is just changing itself into another form of density that we call evaporation. If I put a mirror up to the water as it changes into that evaporation, it'll change back into condensation, which is back to water again. So what are we talking about? We're talking about the fact that chaos in itself has multiple states of existence that never stay the same. That's why it's chaos. See, man stays man. Order stays order. That's why it's called order. See, disorder is out of order. You see what I'm saying? So we are all in this existence, this physical realm, simultaneously as we speak, as so-called multiple units of consciousness that we call human beings. Beings. Being is being. So we all vibrate differently. We vibrate at different frequencies. The difference between you being able to see me, hear me, and not see me and not hear me is how far of a polar opposite our frequencies are within. That's what creates man and woman, because man and woman essentially are one of the same center. But the fact that we are so polarized, quote unquote opposites, which I don't like to use that word because it comes from opposed, but we are so polarized as opposites, we see ourselves as reflections of different anatomies, man and woman. But at our center, there is no man and woman. It's an androgynous energy. And by the way, that's why we're able to create life when we intertwine our bodies, intercourse, and then create a new life out of that. what we refer to as God or the creator, or what I like to say, what our ancients said, the all within the all, or just the all, has no gender. It's not man or woman. That's why as soon as somebody says he or she to any concept of religion or spirituality, I know they're still using religion. You're still using it. I don't care if you want to talk about African spirituality, Yoruba, blah, blah, blah. As soon as you say, oh, God, he has a plan. No, you're religion. I don't care what religion you rep. You're religious automatically. Automatically. Because what you refer to as, and even the creator is defined or finite. Because creation is an act that has a stopping process. Because once something is created, it's finished. You see what I'm saying? So when you say creator, you're still saying something that's finite. But I don't question people on that because it's still a level. It's a level higher than saying praise Jesus.
Right.
So I let that go. But the fact of the matter is, since we're discussing it right now, even the word creator is finite. It's limited. Because a creator creates something and that creation is finished.
That's so, I remember we were talking about you when I brought up I want to live and I want to fulfill my mission, but then you said, you know, it's this existence isn't about fulfilling a mission, because if you were to fulfill the mission, then that means that you are limited, and that means that you end here. That means that your mission is meant to end here. But if we're infinite beings, then your mission will never end.
Nope.
Your mission will ascend when you ascend.
You're going into what I discussed. I made a recording of this. I'm still debating whether I'm going to put it up or not, because the brother was just so, he was stuck in his egotistical box, and he was purposely making an effort not to understand, which I know he did because he's a smart brother. Goals, achievements, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Let's take it even deeper. Let's take it to where the recessive has brought us to. Because you know what the recessive likes to do? He likes to make movies. That energy's building up in here, you know. That recessive has created an existence to where he has conditioned you with this thing called so-called meaning of life. Every time you see a movie and he's standing in front of white God, what's the meaning of life? Now, let's go into that. We need to understand that when you find the meaning to something, you find the end. If you truly know and understand that you are an infinite being with infinite existences, then there is no meaning to anything, because your meaning is your end. And if you have an end, then that must mean you have a beginning.
You never had a.
So therefore, that's contradicting your concept of your so-called understanding of infinity or infinite existence. So when we use these words, what's the meaning? What's this? What's that? We're looking for something that will justify an ending to our search or an ending to our existence that actually puts us in a place where we're like, so what? I might as well just die now. Give up. You know, it's like when you look at recessive people and recessive celebrities and wealthy people, their goal is to have everything. But guess what? When you have the planet, what's left? Now their goal now is to get off the planet or to go into the planet. You see, at one time when they first crawled out the caves, they were trying to take over Europe. They took over Europe. Then they realized, oh shit, this motherfucker ain't flat and I'm not gonna fall off. And there's other places? Whoa, now we got a new goal. Let's conquer other places now. Now you got the whole fucking planet. Everybody is under your delusion and illusion that you created. What's left? What's next? So now you're thinking to yourself, damn, well, I got the whole planet. What's on Mars? You know, what's over here? What's over there? Let's go conquer that. You see what I'm saying? This is the desperation that gives you validation to your existence beyond your mind itself. Because you can't see spiritually or mentally that you are connected within oneness. So your validation and your purpose of existence is to always have something to conquer. Whether you want to conquer a goal, whether you want to conquer a country, whether you want to conquer a weight goal, or whatever the hell all these people always talking about having all these goals. You're still using the mindset of an imperialistic conquering mindset. brother I was talking to before I made a recording, he kept saying, I want to tackle my goals. I want to tackle my goals. And I was explaining to him how the word tackle is a physical attacking. In order to tackle something, you have to exhaust energy to jump upon something physical, restrain it, hold it there, and conquer it. So you're tackling something. But see, every time you think like that, you're solidifying yourself in this physical existence because everything you're thinking is physical.
And everything, and the way you think you're going to fulfill it is physically.
There you go.
But in actuality, you're going to fulfill it mentally.
That's if you choose.
Yeah.
That's if you choose.
Yeah.
Because what ends up happening, the more you speak physically and think physically, the only thing that begins to give you form of fulfillment or satisfaction is physicality. Material shit. More shit. Oh, I got 10 cars. You got one ass, nigga. I got 10 houses. You got one ass, nigga. Oh, I got a whole island. Nigga, motherfuckers is homeless. What are you talking about? You see? And then what happens is the goals get smaller. There becomes less goals. And when there becomes less goals, what happens to you as in you're thinking of your purpose of life? You don't want to fucking live anymore. You don't have a reason to live. There's nothing left to live. What are you living for? You did everything already. You see what I'm saying? This is my perfect example. If you notice, when people get rich or get wealthy, you ever notice how they start looking bummier?
Yeah.
They take off the jewelry.
They start talking about
they're riding bikes.
How they don't need money.
Yeah, you know, they get to a level and they realize, they're like, holy shit. I got the house from my mama that I said I was going to get. I got 1,000 cars already. I got every wardrobe I could name in existence. What the fuck is left? What do I do now? What do I now? They have to start seeking somebody to tell them what to do now, because they don't understand what they should be seeking is from within. That's about expansion. This is why I always talk about expansion. I don't talk. See, what I was explaining to the brother is, you know what my goal is? To know everything. You know what the problem with that is? It's impossible. You know what's great about that is? I'll never have an end. See, that's my goal. My goal is to know everything. And as I say that, I know that's impossible. Therefore, I never look forward to an ending or a completion of anything.
Therefore, your soul will never end.
No.
Literally.
No.
But if a person that has this a physical mission to fulfill, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just jumping the gun. Maybe their soul ends when their physical achievement ends,
or maybe they lose their soul before they transition.
Yeah, maybe it never stays intact.
You're going into what I speak about all the time about how this current transition is literally based off frequency and DNA. What do I mean by that? Now, the transition that we're experiencing right now, as we experience it, you're seeing that there's all these cataclysms going on all around. I don't care whether it's HAARP. I don't care whether it's God, nature, whatever the hell you want to call it. The fact of the matter is, parts of the earth is being destroyed. Certain places, specifically, people are being destroyed, so on and so forth. The transition that we're dealing with right now is only based off two things, DNA and frequency. Let's go into the DNA aspect. The reason why it's based off DNA is because in order to enter the current dimension that this earth is transitioning into, which technically will be the fifth, jumping over the fourth, you have to be at least a 4-strand DNA concept, a 4-strand DNA helix existence within yourself. Black people, or you melanated, to be super technical, you melanated, selenium-based people, aka black people, are naturally at their lowest 6th strand. That's the lowest. So no matter what the fuck we do, we're gonna make it. The only thing that's going to dictate whether we make it or not after that DNA is confirmed that we are that 6 to 22 strand is our frequency. Because now you got people that's 6 to 22 strand waiting for Jesus. Now you got people that's 6 to 22 strand addicted to technology. Now you got people that's 6 to 22 strand that need 1,000 houses and need more material things to make their life significant. So therefore, for some strange reason, they get wiped out. For some strange reason, the earthquake. Let's pay attention to this. The hurricane that just hit the South, what is that called that it just hit? The Bible Belt. The earthquake that hit a part of Mexico, what is the majority of the people in that area? Catholic. The floods that's going on in Sierra Leone, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, in Africa right now, what are those people over there? Christians. See, if you notice, certain things are happening in a concentration area where people are based in belief 90 to 100% of the time. I've never met an African that will not let go of Jesus. Never. And I know a lot of them. You can't tell them anything. You cannot, Jesus is it and that's it. Shut the fuck up. And you'll be sitting there like, brother, you're speaking Igbo, Wolof, a language that existed long before English and Latin, and you don't even have a name for Jesus in your own language. But I can't tell you to not believe in Jesus? They're locked in a frequency. And because that frequency is so highly concentrated in that area, they're being wiped out. South America, all over there is Catholic. Spanish people in South America, they're all strongly Catholic. The Caribbean, they're strongly Catholic. If you notice, black people are usually Christians. Most black people are usually Christians. Most so-called Spanish people are usually Catholic. Either way, it doesn't matter because all of this is bullshit. It's all under the same religious umbrella of Christianity. See, people don't think Roman Catholic is under Christianity, but it's under Christianity. It's all Christianity. Christianity has over 300 sects of itself. So it's still the same shit. They all believe in Jesus. Let's get that out the way. So just imagine a specific area of 200,000, 300,000, 1 point whatever million, whatever high number you want to come with. And every single one of these people individually are vibrating at a frequency waiting for Jesus. Are vibrating at a frequency waiting for heaven and an angel of Gabriel, Ezekiel, whatever the fuck, to come and save them. Is that a high or low frequency? It's a low frequency.
It's pretty low.
It's very low. You know why it's a low frequency? Because it doesn't even have a long lifespan. Because when I speak of Jesus, Gabriel, Ezekiel, all of these different aspects of your so-called 1611 King James Bible,
infinite. It's supposed to be.
We're talking about a few hundred years. We're talking about a few hundred years in comparison with 76 trillion that runs into your DNA. That's like this. That's like this to this to this to this to this. It's nothing. And that frequency cannot transition because it's too low. It can't exist. Same aspect of hate and all of these different things. The reason why I'm using that is because if we pay attention beyond just going, oh, pray for this and pray for France and pray for Haiti and pray and pray and pray, all that bullshit, we will notice that the places that are being decimated, I'm not talking about places that get a little bit of rain and some water and blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about the places where hundreds and thousands of lives are gone. Pay attention to what that place is. Are they all highly Islamic? Are they all highly Christian? Are they all highly Catholic? What are they? And I can guarantee you 99.9% of the time, they are all under a strict guise of religion. That can't exist in the next realm we're going into. Religion can't exist. You know why religion can't exist in the next realm we're going to? Because you're going to be God.
Because
you're going to be at such a high existence on this physical realm of the surface of the earth, that how dare you believe in a God or angel or being that is not you. You're going to be infectious. You know what it's like?
And it's like we're looking for something outside of ourselves when it's already in us.
Yes.
So now we're seeking for something else, which will cause us to a means to an end, because the whole time we were looking, but it was right here.
Now, what did we just say? Don't the Bible teach you about an end? Don't the Bible teach you you're going to die and you're going to go to heaven and sit next to God and Jesus for how long? Forever? You're just going to sit next to God and Jesus forever? You know, Christians don't believe in reincarnation. That's like devil shit to them. So they think they're going to go to heaven and sit next to God forever and just sit there. That sounds like hell to me. I'm just going to sit next to this nigga forever?
Damn.
You see what I'm saying? See, when you ask a Christian, incarnation is diabolical. They don't believe in that stuff. They don't believe in it. Even Islam believes you're gonna go to heaven with 70, 99, or 70 something virgins. So you're just gonna be fucking little girls all day. And then guess what? You're gonna end up get to the 99th girl sometime. And then what's gonna happen? You're gonna start back to one. Yeah, you didn't know that in Islam? They think you're gonna die and go to 77 virgins. Now I find that hilarious because when a woman dies, where does she go? Is she gonna get 77 virgins too?
77 virgin guys.
It's either 77, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And by the way, we can go into that because no man is a virgin. There's no such thing.
No, because he was born.
No man is a virgin because you don't have a hymen to break. Virgin dictates the fact that you have an opening to break. So you can't be a virgin. You see what I'm saying? Once again, this is all recessive bullshit that's given to us. It's recessive shit.
So you saying that by us thinking, we're actually going back to going back to our way of thinking, we're kind of like devaluing our lives as a whole, because we're going from this realm. We're saying that we're going to go from this realm where we have, which we probably don't even know. Well, a lot of us know, but a lot of us don't know that we have we have an infinite mind and an infinite life, beyond now and beyond. Some of us are saying that we're going to go from this infinite life to a controlled, systematic life where you go and you sit down next to somebody and it's like next, and you're like in a line, and then you put on your wings.
By the way, and I don't even mean to make this a religious recording, but since we on it, let's be on it. I find it very hilarious. You talk to a Christian and ask them, is God omnipresent? Yes. Is God omniscient? Yes. Is God omnipotent? Yes. Where is God? In heaven. In order to be in something, can you be bigger than it?
No.
How can I sit in this car with you if I'm bigger than the car?
You have to be smaller than
I have to be smaller than the car. So is it safe to say that heaven is bigger than God?
Yeah, arguably. I mean,
whoa. Now, if heaven is bigger than God, how is God omni anything? Because the word omni means...
I'm sorry. Is now going off of that? Is God God bigger than heaven? Now, and Jesus, and they talk about Jesus as like a physical form. So is Jesus smaller than heaven and God bigger than heaven, or is God the same?
If you notice, I started with the concept of a Christian mind. You ask a Christian, where is God? They will say God is in heaven. Notice they say in. They don't say God is above heaven. They don't say God is next to heaven, bigger than heaven. Right. They say God is inside of heaven, in heaven. Now we can even go into the concept that heaven is a place. So if heaven is a place, where is it? Does it have an atmosphere? Does it have a surface? Does it have chemical compounds that create compositions of land and dirt and minerals? What is it? See what I'm saying? There's too many ways that none of this shit makes no sense. And then you say omnipresent, which is contradictory to it being inside of anything. Because something that's omni means it's everywhere at all times, forever expansive. So you can't put it into anything.
Right.
You see, when I say omniverse, I say omniverse to differentiate the fact that there's universes within the omniverse. That there's multiverses within the omniverse. But there's nothing outside of the omniverse.
But isn't there has to be something outside?
No, because there is.
But what if the nothing is something though?
There is nothing. There's no such thing.
Nothing is something.
There's no. Think about it. No thing. Look at that word. It's already contradictive in itself because thing is something.
But what is what is nothing?
Nothing is. There's no such thing. Once again, this is recessive bullshit. Look at the word no thing and something. Now they spell.
What if nothing doesn't exist? What if everything, like, what if there's no such
everything is something? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm just saying, brother.
Okay.
Now look at the words. Okay. Look at the two words that we use by this recessive. You have no thing and you have something. Now they spell something SOMETHING, but you know the way it's properly spelled? SUM, because it's the sum of things. That's why it's called something. Then you have no thing. That's contradictory in itself. Because a thing is something.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It goes right back to the second and the minutes.
Yeah.
It's all contradictory, brother. It's inside out. And what it does is it makes you think inside out.
Yeah.
You see, and it conditions you with spells upon yourself, because as you use these words, you're creating spells. That's why if you notice, if you hear me speak, I'll say overstanding and understanding, and you know, I'll make acronyms for king and queen and man, and I define the words I will use.
Right, for your world.
You see what I'm saying? I will not allow, now the fact that I'm at this point cannot speak multiple languages or the ancient language or whatever, I have to utilize this bastardized English language. But what I will do is I will put the power of my intentions into every word that I speak, creating a spell for myself that benefits me, not entraps me. That's the difference.
Right.
So there's no such thing as outside of the omniverse.
Right.
Because there never wasn't. You understand what I'm saying?
There is no outside.
There is no outside, because think about it. In order to be outside, there has to be a point of your creation.
Right.
But there was never a point. There was never a beginning.
Everything is infinite.
There you go.
The omniverse is infinite.
It's infinite. It's infinite. So it always was there. This goes back. I'm relating it to for the listeners right now. This goes back to the primordial waters of Nun. This ancient teaching. The primordial waters of Nun is where Atum was born out of. Now, if we look at it, what is Atum? Atum is the atom. What did we just say a second ago of everything that we look at is?
Atoms.
It's accumulation of atoms.
Right.
So everything in existence that you see is some way, shape, or form of an accumulation of atoms vibrating or moving at a certain frequency, creating the illusions of a solid or the illusion of a liquid or the illusion of a gas. But of course, that comes after the primordial chaos, which has always been in existence. The reason why we have no beginning and no end, because we're made of that primordial black matter that they call dark matter, which is primordial chaos in the black waters of Nun. That's why. Do we have a beginning as the physical form? Yes. Do we have a beginning as this human being on earth? Yes. Do we have this? You have many beginnings. But the reason why technically your essential existence is infinite is because you're made of the infinite matter. So you always was. And by the way, that infinite matter is conscious. See, this has been proven by recessive science itself. They not even went into space. They use instruments to where they calibrate what they refer to as dark matter or dark matter energy, which, by the way, a scientist named Vera Rubin was the one that discovered that the universe is about 99 to 90% dark black matter. But they sat down and literally had a whole goddamn council about this shit, not calling it black matter. So they settled on dark matter. But you're looking at black matter. But see, they didn't want to say black matter because that would give black people power. And I would say that black people are cosmic beings. You see what I'm saying? So they call it dark matter to differentiate from black. You see, but darkness is blackness. You understand what I'm saying? And by the way, everything in all existence comes from blackness. Light comes from darkness. You are conceived in the womb, which is blackness. She's called the triple black mother because you go through 3 different stages called trimesters within the womb of darkness. So now she's triple black. You understand what I'm saying? This is ancient terms I'm giving you right now that we already understood. We already knew. That's why the atom or Atum was deified into a god. Atum. But see, they took that concept and that's why they call the atom from our shit. You see, that's why they call it atom the atom. it's Atum. You see what I'm saying? Hydrogen. What's hydrogen? Hydrogen is water and gene or generation or fire, because gene also means fire or life. What is hydrogen? Hydrogen is the primordial waters of chaos. It's water. Out of hydrogen, you get the hydrogen atom. So once again, we write back to the ancient script of the primordial black waters of Nun giving birth to Atum. You see, we put it in story form. They can't understand the story, break it down, make it overly logical, disconnecting everything that's always been connected. So the point of the matter is, are we all connected? Absolutely. Are we all vibrating at different forms and frequencies? Yes. Does that mean we're not connected? No. Because as we speak right now, the 6 to 22 strand eumelanin, selenium-based being that is referred to as the black man and black woman, has multiple different forms of itself. But we still have the same 76 trillion year DNA running through our veins. That gives us access to certain aspects of our prior existences and current existence. The same way that the subconscious always has access to the all-knowing. And everybody has a mind. As a matter of fact, all our minds are connected within one envelope of mind. What we think is our individual mind really isn't individual at all. That's why you can be a psychic. The only reason why you're a so-called psychic is because you're gaining access to the fact that your mind is connected to somebody else's naturally. It's like me having an antenna. Remember back in the days, not even too long ago, your neighbor would have the same maybe cable box as you or something, and then they would change the channel, and the channel would change on your TV? Because the waves or the radio waves in the air are all connected. But just because you have an individual box or individual TV doesn't change that y'all are still connected by the waves. You see, now you got a 60-inch, he got a 20-inch. You see, you got a cable vision box, he got a blah, blah, blah box. But does that matter with the waves that connect the signals of those two boxes? No. You see, and those signals and those waves that I'm referring to is that DNA aspect, that blood, that etheric matter, that dark, that black matter that is encased in all of us, that is inside all of us, connecting all of us. The problem is we've been taught to be disconnected. We believe we're disconnected, and anything you feel or believe becomes your reality, therefore further disconnecting you. When I tell somebody certain things about history and about existence, the first thing they go is, well, why is everything broken up? Why is it all lost? It's not lost. Your perception is disconnected from your reality. So therefore you look at things fragmented. Now understand that's all connection. Perfect example I like to use this. The last scene of the first Matrix, when Neo reached his last level, when he looked at everything, what was everything?
Everything was just numbered, like coding.
It was binary code.
Yeah.
So he didn't see that van in that house. He just saw binary codes in the shape of that van in the house.
Right.
So nothing was disconnected. And because he saw that nothing was disconnected, he was able to manipulate everything in his surrounding. Because he was connected to it. You see what I'm saying? Once he's fractionalized from it or disconnected to it, he can't build the concept to understand that he's one with it. Therefore, it can't hurt him, it can't stop him, and he can manipulate it the same way as you can manipulate your own body. See, the kindergarten level of this shit is what you see monks do and shit, where they can manipulate their own body to not feel coldness, to not feel pain. That is a baby microscopic aspect. What your ancients was able to do was they can manipulate the atoms in their body, turn at a 90-degree angle, and literally be in another dimension. Because they understood that everything existed simultaneously and that everything in your body is not different. Neil deGrasse and all of these people talk about this shit from those shows on National Geographic or History Channel, whatever channel it is, about the universe, where they say, we're all made of stardust. We're all made of star matter. And that's true. You see what I'm saying? So to truly know that and to truly understand that and not just think it or just say it because it sounds cool, but actually begin to vibrate at that rate or raise yourself to a frequency of connecting that knowingness with access and activation of your ability, you'll walk through a wall. You won't have to break it because you'll realize that's not a wall. That's a bunch of atoms. And I'm a bunch of atoms. If I allow those atoms to slow down to a certain rate and allow my atoms to slow down to a certain rate, I can go right through it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, brother, sheesh. Anything else you want to just go out there or expand on, or anything that I said that maybe didn't make too much sense? Or please, brother, let me know, because I always tell people, don't let me just ramble and talk and sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Stop me somewhere or bring back something else that you didn't understand, or maybe I did not explain correctly or explain at the best of my ability, and allow me to exercise and sharpen the archives that exist in my subconscious, because this stuff, believe it or not, is pure selfishness, because I love this shit because it makes me better.
Right.
It makes me greater. You know, and see, I can admit a lot of people can't admit certain things that makes them, that conditions them, and it limits them so much, because we have to understand my thirst for knowledge is pure selfishness, because I just want to know every fucking thing. I just need to know every fucking thing. Now other people go, I want to spread the knowledge and uplift the people. Yeah, that's my surface talk. But see, you done got me at a level right now in this recording, my brother, where I can let out things I won't say because I'm so used to having to give surface rhetoric,
right?
To where it's like, we'll uplift the black people, and
you've tapped into the unconscious that you didn't even. Of course, the unconscious you have to tap into it, but the conscious you don't have to tap into it, but the subconscious you have to tap into, because all of the knowledge is already there.
Yes,
but you just don't know it on the spot because you can't just we can eventually once we practice, but it takes another person sometimes to get that out of you.
It's like an activation. It's like an activation spark.
Pushing that button.
I also want to add on, because I thought you were going to say something different, but what you just said is exactly right, brother. But also the fact that when I'm in the world, see, right now, whether you realize it or not, brother, in this car, we're in a different world right now. Mm-hmm. We are in a completely different world. Everybody around us, they don't exist. We're in a completely different world. Yeah, we're in a different world. So what I'm saying is, when I have to be on Instagram or in front of a certain different type of people, and I have to talk about black politics and economics and what happened in ancient Egypt and the European history and da.
You're going into the general world.
I have to act as if the knowledge that I have accumulated due to my selfishness, the knowledge that I have accumulated is for them. But it's not. It's a byproduct of my selfishness to accumulate as much as I want to know, because I need to know for myself to desire to know everything. And the byproduct of that is that I have the ability to give clarity and to give information to someone who's seeking a specific answer at their level. At that level, I can't just say, like a perfect example. One dude was in the shop one day and he's talking to me. He's like, oh, well, you can't lower yourself to people's level to get them to understand that. Now, at one point, I used to think like that. But that's not a good teacher.
It's not.
Because if you're seeking light, but you've just got to a level to seek the light, how dare I go, oh, nigga, you at kindergarten stage, you ain't even on this level. Fuck that. Because what proves that I'm at a higher level is the fact that I could jump from all levels.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I had to correct that, brother, because I was like, well, listen, some people seeking answers, just the fact that they're seeking answers is proof of their intelligence being utilized. Mm-hmm. Now I have a duty to give them that answer on their level.
At one point, you may have been, maybe not, but you may have been on that level.
Oh yeah, all
you
over.
know what I mean? So
all over in that level.
Exactly.
Of course.
And everybody, and I feel like today we assume that everybody's time should be at the same time as our time, but that's not the case. No. We all have a different time. So, I mean, we ain't gonna go into. I was about to go off the side with the time. With the time thing, because it doesn't.
Remember this is the guardrail right here, now, brother. I don't think I've been able to say that on any of my recordings, because I haven't been in the guardrail. Right now, we're in the guardrail. Yeah. Time doesn't exist. There's only cycles, transitions, and moments.
Exactly.
Time does not exist. Exactly. There's no time.
Well, since people aren't on the same cycle as you cannot, as a God, you can't judge. You just have to analyze.
And also, we can't forget that the definition of a God is a servant. The definition of God is a combination of two things. A God is a divine scientist, and a God is a servant. Anybody that dares to call themselves a God but feel that they're too high to serve somebody else or whatever the case is, or be, because what is humility besides serving? That's serving.
That's serving.
You see what I'm saying? Because whether you're serving from an emotional or socializing or mental aspect, see, people think serving is me serving you a dish of food or getting on my knees. Fuck all of that. Serving is a form of energy. It's a form of thinking. It's all different forms. You think when I come to a Christian that asks me a question, I just shoot at their face that Jesus never existed? Fuck no. I tell them, well, have you ever heard of the Gnostic? Or do you know that, Jesus was born in year 1 AD, right? you do know that there was teachings before Jesus. Do you know that? I don't just go, you stupid, Jesus never existed, Christianity comes from the birth of Herod. I don't just do that. You see what I'm saying? Because that would not make me a good teacher, and that would not make me a god. You see what I'm saying? That would make me an arrogant dickhead. You see what I'm saying?
And that's showing that you're allowing another being to affect your emotions. If you're a god, nothing can affect you.
They're dictating your existence.
Exactly.
They're dictating your existence. And they're changing your vibrational wave, which I always have to catch myself a lot of times, because sometimes I'll talk about something or have to explain something that I can feel immediately is lowering my vibration. I have to catch myself. I don't even want to talk about this because it's lowering. You'll hear me say it on tape a lot. Like, I don't even want to talk about this because it's lowering my vibration. See, a lot of people don't admit that. They don't go, oh, this is making me feel down, or they don't admit that. They just get angrier and madder and start speaking. And when somebody goes, oh, you look and you sound angry. I'm not angry. I'm not, then that's that spite and that ego kicking in. You see, but at times I will tell you, yeah, I'm fucking angry. I don't like that shit, blah, blah, blah. Or sometimes I'll be like, well, I don't want to talk about that because that's lowering my frequency. Either way, the acknowledgement of the fact that certain things still possess the power to change how you vibrate within that instance and moment of your existence, that is proof of your divinity and the levels that you're reaching. Because a lot of times that's the biggest problem I see that we have as a so-called conscious community of people. We don't admit nothing. We don't, as soon as we come into a little bit of knowledge or a little bit of thinking we know some shit, we don't admit that you still dumb as fuck, nigga. That's why if you look at my very first videos, what's the first thing I see in my videos when a nigga said, well, you know a lot? I said, I don't know shit. If you watch my first videos where I have the stacks of book on each side of me, I say I don't know shit. I'm stupid as fuck. I remind myself how dumb I am constantly. Because if I don't do that, I'll never be able to obtain and accumulate more knowledge constantly. And remember, like I just told you, because we're in a guard run right now, I'm telling you this, I'm selfish as fuck. I want all the knowledge. Because I want to know everything. Why you want to know everything? To fucking know. See, people go, I want to know everything to help the children. I want to know. That's all ego. That's all ego. I want to do everything to uplift black people. That's ego. Oh, I want to know everything to take over the world. That's ego. Whatever way. See, we forget that everything has a polarity. When people hear the word ego, they think ego only falls under the concept of doing bad or being purely selfish for your own beneficial gain through negativity. No, that's one side of ego. The other side of ego is, I'm going to help this old lady across the street because these people over here are watching me and I want to look like a good Christian. That's ego. Oh, man. Okay. Oh, God. I guess I have to pick up this person's pen right now if they dropped it in front of me. Oh, boy. That's ego.
Doing something to in order to gain acknowledgement from another being.
Yes.
But basically, like you're referring to knowledge, you're saying that you want to know it because I want to know everything.
Fuck everybody.
And that isn't trying to please anybody else. You're just pleasing yourself.
Fuck them. Fuck the kids. See, you got me on a whole other level, nigga. Fuck the kids. Fuck the babies. Fuck the women. Fuck the niggas. Fuck them all. You know why? Because all this shit's illusion anyway. And number two, there's no death. As a matter of fact, if we study our ancients, they cried at birth and celebrated at so-called death. It was a celebration. I know this for a fact because to this very day, there was an African funeral that just passed not too long ago. And I went and they were dancing. They dance at their funerals. They don't sit there and mourn. You wake up in the morning. Good morning. The fuck? What kind of language is this? Good morning? Morning is bad. You're not supposed to mourn. So wait, let's dissect that real quick. Every day you wake up back into this illusion that's not reality. Someone looks at you and say, good morning. Think about that. Mourning is the negative or sadness coming from death. So if I say good morning as soon as you wake up,
you're already implying.
That means you died from the real world you just came from. And now you're in death. And now I'm going to give you a good morning. See, when you're asleep and you're traveling and you're in a so-called dream realm and you're traveling through multiple dimensions or your simultaneous existence, you ever notice how in a dream you'll be in your house but you're not in your house? You're like, this looks like my house, but where's this other part from? Yeah, like it's the same house, but it's a different house. Those are those simultaneous existences I'm talking about. The simultaneous existences are not drastically different. They're just slightly different. Some of them are drastically different. Some of them are slightly different. Some of them are not. You see, because they're reflections upon reflections upon reflections.
It's infinite.
You see what I'm saying? It keeps going, just like a kaleidoscope. Just like a kaleidoscope multiplied by the reflections of a diamond. They're ongoing reflections of reflections of reflections. This goes into the law of correspondence, as above, so below. Your trillions of cells that exist within your body are nothing but reflections of the so-called omniverse or universe that you're in. Because each cell possesses a nucleus. What's a nucleus? That's Greek for the little sun. Each cell has a nucleus with protoplasm around. What's protoplasm? That's dark matter. Each cell has a proton, neutron, or whatever revolving around. What's that? That's the planets revolving around the sun. So each cell is a form of solar system. And you have trillions of cells in your one body. You have a mind above that body, which is your infinite creator. You have a brain, which is your central computer. You have a heart, which is a form of your time belt, because your heart emanates rhythm. Every beat has a rest between it. That's a count. That count gathers up to moments. So your heart is a form of keeping record of your moments. When you die, what happens to that heart? Stops beating. Your clock stops ticking. See what I'm saying? But it's funny because they found that some people will die and their brain's still working. Because your brain is an electrotransmitter. It's an electromagnetic transmitter. I broke this down on a post I created, how the 7 laws are literally manifested in the human body. The first law is mind is all mentalism. What's that? That's your mind. The second law is correspondence, as above, so below. What's that? That's your cellular structure that resembles the universe. The third law is vibration. What's vibration? That's the electromagnetic transmitter that you call your brain, which is always vibrating. Because remember, your brain works off electrical signals. And your brain has a vibratory rate. So where it vibrates, it's electrical. You see what I'm saying? The fourth one, what's the fourth one? Not cause and effect. I think cause and effect. Oh, the fourth one is rhythm. Rhythm, we just said rhythm is your heart. Because your heart beats at a rhythm. You see what I'm saying? Cause and effect. What's cause and effect? That's life and death. Gender. We already know what gender is. That's your reproductive organ. You see what I'm saying? And then polarity. What's polarity? See, polarity is a tricky one. Because polarity is your ego to your subconscious. See, because your ego is trying to survive. Your ego is based off your environment and the accumulation of what you call your perception, your preferences, all of this dumb shit. Because think about it. The ego of an African somewhere, in a poor part of Africa is way different than your ego as an American in America. But y'all both can possess a form of ego. But see, their ego is being the so-and-so best to their tribe or a specific tradition that their tribe has implemented upon them. Your ego is, 20 cars. See, those are different egos, but the ego is still the same. The ego is a polarity of the subconscious. Because subconscious means to prove nothing because the subconscious knows all. So that's a polarity. The ego don't know shit. The ego is only trying to survive. That's all the ego's doing. You ever find yourself battling within yourself of whether you was right or wrong about a situation? And you'll be like, damn, that was fucked up. I shouldn't do that. Then your ego goes, nigga, what? That nigga did that to you? Fuck that shit. You'll be like, yeah, that nigga did do that to me. But nah, man, that didn't deserve to happen. What? Do you think you deserve what you see what I'm saying? That's your ego battling with you to justify its existence.
Is that like the symbolism behind yin and yang?
Yin and yang is the feminine and masculine.
Feminine and masculine?
Because yang energy is masculine, yin energy is feminine energy. That's why if you notice, that also goes back into the order and chaos. Because remember, chaos is darkness, order is light. See, man is light. That's why now you're going to see, brother. Sorry, we gotta do this. See, now you're going into what I'm always saying. Man is light. That's why he's also the sun. The mother gives birth to the son. The son becomes the father. So the son, when it first is born, is a son, meaning that it's light. When it transitions to the father brings the order. But once it's in the womb, it's within darkness, which is in chaos, being created. Because as you're in the womb, you're still being created. You're not finished yet. If your mother's pregnant and I take you out of her belly at 5 months, you're premature. You understand what I'm saying? So you're still within the existence of creation being created. After that 9 months, which we can go on numerology, which 9 is completion. After that 9 months and you're born into the light. Because as you come out of the yoni, out of that gateway, you see the light from the darkness. Now you are an individual being within the light. As a son, they call you a S-O-N of the S-U-N because you're light, you're man. You're not darkness. Woman is darkness because darkness is chaos.
Right.
It's the unknown. You never know what the fuck she's thinking.
Right. And darkness became before light.
Yes. And all light comes from darkness. All existence comes from the womb. All life comes from the womb first. Everything in existence had to be incubated somewhere else where it was dark. Notice, I could break this down a million times. Notice how when you're a photographer, there was a certain point where I think they still do that to these day, old school brothers, but when you go into a dark room, what are you doing? You're developing the pictures, right?
Yeah.
But why can't you be in a light room and do that?
Because it's
gonna destroy.
Yeah.
So what are the pictures doing? They're incubating in a process of darkness. Once they're complete, you could bring them to the light. They're finished. You could bring that picture to the light after it's finished in the dark room, and it won't damage it. But if you take those pictures out of the dark room while it's going through the process of becoming that picture, you'll spoil the picture. We can go do this in a million different directions that relate to the same thing. And once again, this is more proof that everything in existence is the law of correspondence and reflections of reflections. This is all reflections of reflections from the smallest ant to a molecule and minerals in the ground to the largest planets in existence. It's all reflections of reflections, and size is relative. Because even as we speak right now, me and you, we're microscopic to something else. As we step out on this ground, we're stepping on things that we consider to be microscopic, but in their world, they can be huge.
Right.
Give you another fact to the fact that size is relative. How come I can take a picture, put you in front of something, stand someone else 10 yards in front of you, take that picture in a linear form, and make that person look the same size as the other object in the picture? It's an optical effect. You see? This shit don't fucking exist. If it existed, we wouldn't be able to do all these optical illusions all the fucking time. It don't exist. You see, all your perception is doing is dictating what you're seeing based on what you're told and what your mind has allowed you access to know. See, you were taught that your mind is your brain. That's false. Your brain is completely different. Your brain ain't nowhere near your mind. Your brain is just a computer for your body. That ain't got shit to do with your fucking mind. Your mind is omniversal. Your brain ain't omniversal. Your brain can connect by frequency with other. What the fuck was that?
I think something fell.
Yeah. I think that's that cue, bro. Like, nigga, you getting the trees are starting to yell and shit. They're like, yo, listen, nigga. You know, part of the matter though, brother, to bring this to an end, because what just happened? See, every time something happened, I could go into something else, because that to me, that's synchronicity. That's the spirit of synchronicity. Because I ain't gonna lie, we well over an hour now. But in conclusion, everything is connected. We are infinite beings. Knowledge is infinite. Therefore, the seeking of knowledge has no end. Everything vibrates and possesses a specific frequency, which dictates how it exists to you. If one thing vibrates higher than another, you can see the one vibrating at the height or frequency that you exist upon. But the other thing cannot be seen by you because it's not vibrating in alignment with your frequency. So therefore, you can't see it. But see, this is where we have to abandon the concept that was given to us by the recessive that if we can't see it, it don't exist. Because that's false. And it's hilarious because as we speak, there's tons of things that we don't see that we know exist. The air exists and we don't see the air. You see what I'm saying? So everything they say is so contradictory, it's so stupid. Because if I say anything to you and I can't back it up with a scientific aspect that can't be bent or broken, it's contradictory. So you telling me somebody, well, I don't believe in angels, or I don't believe in God, or I don't believe in this, and everything you're saying is crazy. Well, why you don't believe it? Because I can't see it. You believe in air? That's different. That's whoa. You know what I'm saying? That's contradictory dumb shit. You see what I'm saying? You cannot see air. Now I was talking about this, and now see, I'm about to go into a whole bunch of it. I was talking about this the other day, where how the spirit, I made a post about this, how the spirit itself is matter, and therefore, since it's matter, it possesses mass. And when you die, it's been proven
you weigh less.
You weigh less.
Right.
Somebody was debating me on this.
It's a scientific fact too. Scientific fact.
And they've done numerous studies, not just the one study a person thought I was talking about. They did numerous studies from the 1920s all the way up to the 80s. Anyway, we can't see air, but I can take a balloon and I can blow air into it, and the balloon will expand. Why is the balloon expanding if air isn't matter? The air that's expanding the balloon is only expanding in it because it's taking space. It's filling the balloon with a form of mass.
You open up the balloon,
it deflates. The only reason why we look at it differently is because that mass doesn't equate to what we feel is solid. But we don't understand that matter has multiple levels of densities. And see, when we hear the word density, we think density means this. Density is this too. Density is etheric too. Density is liquid. Density is everything that's matter. It's just the different levels of density. Just like the different levels of dimensions. You see what I'm saying? Just like the different levels of ether. You see? But on that note, brother, God realm we in right now, and brother, I love this, man, and you know, I definitely appreciate you taking that time, brother, and allowing me to make this recording, man, because it was definitely needed, and I got to tap into that subconscious and express a few things that I usually have to use my ego, because that goes back to ego now. I have to use my ego to not say, fuck those kids. I have to use my ego to not say, fuck all black people. I don't give a fuck about these niggas. See, that's ego stopping me from saying shit like that. That's my ego. See, you'll never hear me say, you gotta have no ego. No. Your intelligence has to dominate your ego. Your spirituality has to dominate you. You'll never hear me say, I have no ego. That's impossible. Because for me to exist on this third dimensional plane in this current society, I have to have an ego. The ego is what tells me to put clothes on. It's hot outside. I love to walk outside naked. Ego tells me, nigga, put clothes on. You can't walk outside naked. That's ego. Ego tells me, don't tell that old lady she smelled like Geritol. That's ego. See, morality, manners, what's the other ones? Morality, manners, all the concepts that come with niceness and all that shit, all of that's ego. It's all ego. Oh, that's polite. It's polite to say thank you and hello. See, if it wasn't ego, you wouldn't have to teach it. Think about that. Ego has to be conditioned. It needs an environment to survive within. Intelligence, yes. Intelligence always exists. Soon as you're born, you don't teach the child to suck on the breast. The child sees the titty, and for some strange reason, it don't smack the titty, it starts sucking on the titty. You don't have to teach it that's where the milk comes. You don't have to teach it none of that shit. You don't have to teach a baby to cry when it's in discomfort. As a matter of fact, a baby teaches the father and the mother. This is a fact. Because the baby being a baby is what teaches you how to be a parent.
Because you don't know how. There's no instruction manual to be a parent.
No. And the fact that the baby is utilizing its intelligence within its environment to know when it feels pain, discomfort, to suck the breast, so on and so forth. That's the intelligence of the baby that's given to the baby at birth with all existence. It's you responding to the baby's intelligence that teaches you how to be a parent.
Right. And that's the ego. Is it?
No, I won't call that the ego. That's you doing what nature needs you to do if you want the baby to survive. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? Technically, we can still call that ego because you're not going, well, fuck this baby, throw this nigga in the river. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So ego is the construct that keeps you doing the nice shit, or that keeps you doing the ignorant shit, or that keeps you doing anything within this physical realm of this false form of humanity that makes you think right is wrong or wrong is right. That's all bullshit because they don't exist. There's only high vibration or low vibration. There's no such thing as right or wrong. You know why there's no such thing as right or wrong? Because what we do in America, we can't do certain places. What you believe here, you can't believe somewhere else because it'll be wrong over there, but it'll be right over here. You know, sacrifice was right somewhere else, but it was wrong somewhere else. So what dictates right or wrong? Your perception and your ego dictates right or wrong. But vibration is a law. Is it low vibration to be dirty as fucking never take a bath your whole life? Fuck yeah. Because your hygiene is destroying your vibrational factor of your body. Now, is it right or wrong? Who's to say? Because Europeans didn't bathe for centuries and they thought that was right. You see what I'm saying? But on that note, my brother, appreciate you, man. And I don't even know what the hell to call this shit, but God realm it is, bro.